was a moonless night as I embarked on a long drive through a desolate stretch of highway. The fuel gauge needle veered precariously close to empty, urging me to find a gas station. After what seemed like an eternity, a flickering neon sign emerged from the darkness, guiding me towards a small, run-down station. Relieved, I pulled in and parked next to an old, creaking pump. The station appeared deserted, with no other vehicles in sight. A chilling breeze swept through, rustling the surrounding trees and sending shivers down my spine. Ignoring the eerie atmosphere, I stepped out of the car and reached for the nozzle to fuel up. As I began to pump gas, an unsettling feeling washed over me, as if I was being watched. Glancing around, I noticed movement from the corner of my eye. There, standing beneath a flickering streetlight, was a figure cloaked in shadow. The individual wore a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, obscuring their features entirely. Unease settled in, but I brushed it off as a mere trick of the light. I focused on the task at hand, eager to leave the isolated station behind. Finishing up, I headed inside the small convenience store to pay. The bell chimed above the door as I entered, the sound echoing eerily in the empty space. The dimly lit store smelled of stale coffee and damp cardboard boxes. Behind the counter stood an elderly attendant, his haggard face etched with lines of weariness. "Evening," he muttered, his voice hoarse and filled with a tinge of melancholy. I nodded in response and placed the money on the counter. As he handed me the change, his eyes lingered on mine for a moment too long, sending a shiver down my spine. I snatched the money and hurriedly exited the store, the feeling of unease intensifying. Back in my car, I gripped the steering wheel tightly, contemplating whether to stay or continue driving. The dark road ahead seemed endless, and an inexplicable dread seeped into my bones. As I wavered, the figure I had seen earlier emerged from the shadows and approached my vehicle. My heart raced as they tapped on my window. I reluctantly lowered it, dreading what awaited me. The stranger's face remained hidden beneath the hat's shadow, concealing their intentions. "Excuse me, sir," a voice spoke softly, barely audible above the wind. "My car broke down a few miles away. Can you give me a ride to the nearest town?" Though alarm bells rang in my mind, I couldn't bear to leave someone stranded in the middle of the night. Against my better judgment, I agreed to help, unlocking the passenger door. The stranger climbed in, their presence permeating the car with an unnerving energy. As we drove in silence, a sinking feeling gnawed at my gut. Glancing at the rearview mirror, I noticed that the stranger's face remained obscured, hidden from view. Uneasiness mingled with fear, and my foot pressed harder on the gas pedal, eager to reach civilization. Minutes stretched into an eternity, the darkness seemingly swallowing us whole. Breaking the silence, the stranger's voice cut through the tension. "Thank you for stopping," they whispered, their tone tinged with an unsettling coldness. "You have no idea how long I've been waiting for someone like you." My blood ran cold, and my grip on the steering wheel tightened. Panic set in as I realized the gravity of the situation. I had fallen into a trap, a passenger in my own car, at the mercy of an unknown menace. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I swerved the car onto the shoulder, screeching to a halt. The stranger let out a low, chilling chuckle, their mask of shadows slipping away. As their face came into view, a haunting realization washed over me. The stranger was no human. Their eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and a sinister grin stretched across their face. Fear consumed me, but instinct kicked in. I flung open the door and sprinted into the inky darkness, the strangers' laughter echoing in the distance. Running for what felt like an eternity, I finally stumbled upon a passing vehicle, desperately pleading for help. The police were called, but by the time they arrived, the gas station and the stranger were nowhere to be found. The memory of that night haunts me to this day, a reminder that darkness lurks in the most unexpected places, even within the confines of a seemingly innocent gas station. Since then, I've avoided late-night drives, and the memory of that encounter serves as a chilling reminder that true horror can be found in the unlikeliest of situations.